you need to invest in these cards right now. Hey guys and gals, it's Mr. Hollywood and welcome back into the Hollywood Rip studio for episode 30, I think, of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast. Thanks for joining us as always. Joe Nasty with me as per usual, of course. And boy, do we have what we think has been an obvious doozy for a while for you this week, plus another eye-opening super short print discrepancy in the NFL sports card world for you to feast your eyes on. But first, because my lawyer would kill me if I didn't say it, the views expressed in this show are the sole opinions of yours truly, us, and do not constitute professional investment advice. Please seek a financial advisor or professional for any of your professional investment needs. And welcome to the Christmas ugly sweater episode, by the way.
Oh, speak for yourself. I like mine.
Speaking of which, well, no, not speaking of which, this next player that we're talking about isn't ugly by any means, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Depends on your taste.
And Jalen Williams. We've talked about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the Invest segment at least twice.
At least.
At least in the past, 4 or 5 months. Shai's 2018 Prism Silver in a PSA 9, and Jalen Williams' 2022 Prism Silver in PSA 9 and 10s. Those are the cards we are talking about. You're looking at the graphic on your screen now, because Shai's PSA 9 is down 20% over the past month.
That's silly.
To $160 per card. Jalen Williams, his teammate, is down across the board. PSA 9 by 30% to $32, and his PSA 10 is down 18% to $191. This is arguably the best team in the NBA, playing without arguably their second best player in Chet Holmgren, who, by the way, I also think is a buy for the most part.
Yeah.
And they're still in first place in the West and have won 7 games in a row. Shai, 2024, is averaging 30 a game, 5.5 rebounds, and 6.2 assists on 51% shooting from the field. Crazy high field goal percentage for a guard. Jalen Williams is averaging 21.7, so almost 22 a game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 49% shooting. So he also kind of shoots the lights out. Shai is just 26. Jalen Williams is just 23. Chet Holmgren, who will be back later this year, he's going to be reevaluated in January, is just 22.
Man.
If you don't think that this big three has a lot of good, positive things ahead of them, then I'm sorry, you're insane. You're a crazy person. I know OKC is not a sexy market.
No.
But this has the makings of a really special group. My favorite part about this group is that they actually defend.
Go figure.
This is the best defense in the NBA in terms of points allowed per game. And they haven't even had their best defender, essentially, for weeks. And have still won 7 in a row, still in first place. I don't know how many times we need to have OKC or Shai on the Invest segment for people to actually get it. But guys, seriously, this is a team that could go to multiple finals in the next handful of years if they stay together.
Yeah.
You're with it.
Oh, I'm with it. I'm also already starting to roast in this sweater. I just want the people to know that.
Yeah, me too. It's hot.
The only thing I can explain for this, sweating is my sweater. No, the only thing that can explain this perhaps is that they did lose by 16, in the in-season tournament NBA Cup championship game against Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Other than that, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right? Shai's really, really good. The Thunder are really, really good. There's not much more that can be said at this point. He's actually getting better. Even just last year, Gilgeous-Alexander was getting the majority of his points at the mid-post, sort of mid-range game, and also getting to the free throw line as a bigger point guard. I turned on a game, I think it was actually just yesterday, maybe 2 nights ago, and he's doing walk-in three-pointers that are all bottoms. The kid's only getting better. And he was already an all-NBA performer last year. Jalen Williams is excellent. The roster is really well-rounded. And they even have like a little bit of an edge with Lou Dort, like the toughness. He's the Canadian out of Arizona State who's got a body built by the gods themselves. He's really tough. He's really like imposing physically. Scores a little bit. Chet's not even there. Like, enough with the nonsense. Like, the Thunder are here to stay.
Yeah, they're here to stay. And
they have every draft pick you've ever wanted.
yeah, exactly. Look, the Oklahoma City Thunder are, whether you like it or not, you're going to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams play in the NBA Finals in the next few years.
And they could trade those picks.
I don't want to guarantee anything, but I feel like this is as good of a shot for a team that doesn't have like the Heatles, or like Curry in his prime with Draymond and Clay to get to an NBA Finals. Like, I think they're so much better and so much more consistent. And the biggest part is that they play defense, which in this league, in today's game,
is a difference
maker. They're the only team that plays defense, basically. So, if you haven't bought in yet, you need to be in on the Oklahoma City Thunder train. I don't care if it's Shai. I don't care if it's Jalen Williams. I don't care if it's Chet Holmgren. I don't even care if it's Dort. You got to be in on the Oklahoma City Thunder because their arrow is going only that way.
I'd mess with a Thunder Celtics Finals.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, the Celtics are going to attempt 63s a game. Like, oh, that's fun to watch.
Try to shoot it over Chet.
Yeah, good luck with that. Speaking of people on the rise, we talked about this guy a little bit last week.
Right.
And I'm bringing it back this week because we didn't have a specific card for you guys. That was a little bit of an oversight on my part. But we have a card for you this week, and I've done some comparing between other players of the same type of card, and I found this to be a very good value in terms of where he stacks up versus his contemporaries. And we're talking, once again, about Caleb Williams. Of course, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears. His 2024, we're going to talk about the Donruss Downtown Super Short Print. His 2024 Donruss Downtown Super Short Print rookie card in a PSA 9 specifically. I'm going to use all PSA 9s across the board. And I want to compare multiple young quarterbacks with an elite quarterback for purposes of this week's show. So we take a look here at these four quarterbacks. So we look at Joe Burrow. His rookie downtown in a PSA 9 is currently sitting at $1,550. Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, the other two big rookies from this past year's class, their rookie downtown PSA 9s are sitting at $1,450 for Jaden Daniels and $1,220 for Bo Nix, respectively. So Burrow 1.5, Bo Nix 1.2, Jaden Daniels 1.45. Caleb Williams, you can see him sandwiched in there, is just chilling at $825.
He's just a chill guy.
He's just a chill guy. Now, the elephant in the room that's obvious is the reason Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix's are well over $1,200 at this point is because both will very likely be in the playoffs. But I want you to remember, and this is a topic that I've wanted to talk about on this show for a while, and I'm going to start harping on it more. But I want you guys to remember that investing in sports cards is the same as investing in any type of investment market, commodity, whatever you want to call it, stocks, real estate, whatever it is that you buy and hold or sell, right? Now, while there are people, for example, shorting stocks or day trading, right? There is always more risk in doing that. And there's even more risk doing that in sports because you don't actually know what's going to happen, right? Like, if someone tears an ACL, they tear an ACL. You have no way of predicting that.
Nope, you're depending on someone else.
Right. So, in my opinion, even with sports cards, you're better off buying quality assets, quality players at an undervalued price and holding it, being patient. I know.
It's tough.
Be patient. knowing that it is a more likely return on your investment, right? If you keep doing that, you will tend to do very well in the sports card investing market. Invest in quality players long term. Do not buy to sell, boom, immediately. Unless obviously you can, unless you're kind of fleecing someone on some sort of deal, right? Then go for it. But yeah. Caleb Williams sitting at $825 there, like 40% less, right, than Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. He's thrown for 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He has a 62% completion rate with a rating close to 90, and he's been sacked 58 times. So those numbers are under an insane amount of duress. Like, he's been sacked more than almost any rookie quarterback I can remember. This is one of the worst. This is one of the most pressured rookies ever.
The only one I can remember is David Carr.
Yeah.
But he went to the expansion Texans.
Right. But 58 sacks. Imagine if the Bears added to this offensive line and got, say, maybe even one offensive weapon that wasn't like 80 years old and washed for the most part.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, you look at the stats, in a lot of ways, I think Caleb Williams' rookie year is just as impressive as Jaden Daniels. In my opinion, I think you could argue, given how much he's been sacked and how much pressure he's faced and the talent around him, I would almost say that Caleb Williams has almost been more impressive because Jaden Daniels' season is virtually identical. 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So Jaden's actually thrown one more interception. And they have virtually the same exact stats everywhere else. But obviously Jaden has a higher completion percentage because he doesn't get sacked every other down.
Yeah, he can sit back there comfortably.
Yeah. And obviously Jaden has more weapons, right? He has Terry McLaurin on that team.
And Mims.
Right. And Brian Robinson has been very good as well. So if you ask me, the price discrepancy is ludicrous on this card.
I agree.
And I think Caleb Williams is a way better value, and it's not even close, over Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. So if you're asking me, invest, play the long game, find the value that's undervalued, find the better player that is undervalued, right? Caleb Williams was picked before everyone else for a reason, and he's showing it while getting sacked 58 times in his first, 15, 16 games?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I really think this is a card to target, even at $825.
Yeah, you really started to sound like Herm Edwards there at the end. You play to win the game. You invest for the long term.
Exactly.
Very salient point, and I agree wholeheartedly. I think you brought it up there in the middle. It's kind of tough because I really began to start to melt in the sweater.
It's sweltering.
Am I glowing yet? I think so. Maybe
Yeah,
just
it's
a bit.
sweltering. Well, I mean, you're red.
Yeah, so this doesn't really bring out my natural tones very well. But like, all things considered, the bad offensive line, the coaching situation, his safety blanket was supposed to be the all-pro, seasoned vet, Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
And that guy is done.
Yeah, washed.
Like, he is totally finished up, and it's kind of sad to see. This was supposed to be the elite route runner and the reliable hands, and that guy is basically like you're pulling a tugboat around the gridiron at this point. It's kind of sad to watch, but that was supposed to be, help with Roma Dunze, so you don't really have to rely on the rookie along with Caleb Williams, Take some pressure off DJ Moore, and he just is unable to do it at this point. Mm-hmm. And we went over it briefly. Like, not only does Jaden Daniels have the supporting cast, but what about the coaching situation?
Right.
The situation in Chicago is this, and I'll say it again because it's truly remarkable. The Chicago Bears have been doing this a very long time. And just this year, with this quarterback, was finally the year where they're like, for the first time in our franchise's history, we're going to fire our head coach mid-season. This was the year. And so that's what Caleb, and he also had an offensive coordinator switch up. So all that pressure, all these issues, and he doesn't really give the ball away either, which I think is actually pretty remarkable. Get in on the Caleb train now. Like, all this screams to me is supreme talent, a guy who has his teams competing and has had less than desirable situations. Yes, they lost to the Lions, and yes, they're going to finish probably with a bit of a fart the rest of the year, but don't let that distract you. The kid knows what he's doing.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Caleb Williams has not thrown an interception since October 13th.
Yep. That's the whole thing. Like, I haven't checked the fumbles, but like...
October 13th.
With interceptions, that's you reading a defense. That's you choosing how to take care of the ball. Like, I actually think that's a truly spectacular stat for the young man.
It's spectacular for a rookie to go 9 consecutive games. And this is not like Caleb Williams drops back and throws 18 times a game and dinks and dunks. Oh. Caleb Williams, guys, listen to this. He has not thrown an interception since October 13th. Those games since then, he has attempted 24, 41, 30, 31, 47, 39, 23, 31, and 40 attempts. Okay? Yeah. That's crazy. Like, Caleb Williams is airing it out, and he is not turning the ball over, and he gets sacked like once every series, every single time.
And he's scrambling, he's on the run, and like a lot of times he's got those high attempts because they're obviously coming back. So defenses know he's throwing.
100%. Like, DeAndre Swift has not exactly been someone who you 100% have to crazy respect either, right?
No.
So,
especially with that offensive line.
Caleb Williams, like we said before, there's a reason he was the #1 pick in the draft. He has had a fantastic first year. Look beyond the team's record and see.
Look into your soul.
That what Caleb Williams is doing is remarkable considering what is around him. It's truly remarkable.
I think a lot of people just don't like him. I personally don't have an issue with his... It's not even antics. He's just a different person.
Well, I mean, you might not like him. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Caleb Williams.
I know you're not, but here you are.
But I can't deny that what he's doing is very impressive. I can't deny that. I can't.
Don't.
But that'll wrap things up for us on this week's episode of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast. The show where you need to know about which cards that you need to invest in right now. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this week's episode, drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel down below. Those of you who have already are reaping the benefits, like unlimited DMs and messaging.
Ooh.
You know, it's basically kind of like an OnlyFans, but without the OnlyFans part. But yes, we are drawing.
How you use your
We are drawing closer to become a subscriber-only channel. So if you want to continue to watch the show, that's going to be the only way to go. So until next time, I'm Mr. Hollywood. That's Joe Nasty. We'll see you next time. Hollywood out.